welcome into Extra Time. We're in our temporary studio.
Yeah, what happened?
The cameras broke in the other studio, so then we came here.
Why couldn't just use these cameras? Just take these cameras into your studio.
Oh yeah, that's easy, Shaq.
You're the boss.
You
You're the
saw the
boss.
logistics of that, Alex. How do you feel about this studio, Stevie?
I love these seats.
Yeah, you look very comfortable.
I feel as though I'm in Disney World and I'm just about ready to get catapulted somewhere.
Yeah, a bit of Space Mountain.
Something like that.
Is that what you do in Disney work? Get catapulted?
Aye.
Oh, I guess.
Stevie does.
You ever go down there, you often see him flying through the wind. He's not well.
No, he's not well, Stevie. He's got a cold, but battling through.
Battling through.
Battling through.
You
were
brought
sick
this
as well.
cold in? Who brought this cold in? It's been
I know.
passing around.
I'm sick. No, well, I was sick.
He started it.
Who's
You
caused
pulled it
this?
in,
No.
You gave it to him.
Patient
He was
zero.
struggling yesterday. He gave it to me. The
Right.
bad news, Shaka, you're in trouble tomorrow. Because you'll be getting...
I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah, don't
Well,
worry.
regardless, you've got it now.
The flu doesn't take any account when you're off.
I'm going to come. Dan's house. If I get sick, I can come in yours.
Come mine, it'd be
With
nice to see
chicken
you.
soup and orange juice.
Lovely to see you.
You know how
Going
you
out tomorrow.
Always welcome.
you know how you gauge just how ill he is. You know that, don't you?
I offered him a
How was that,
chocolate,
Craig?
and he turned it down.
Well, it's like you know how we have the gabometer for transfers. We
Yes.
have the foodometer. For Stevie,
You didn't want anything, Steve.
when he's not eating anything,
Wow.
that means it's like you know. there's
Even Eleanor's mince and tatties.
Wow. I'm going to be...
Are you gonna have a beer tonight?
No.
What?
I mean that's
That's it.
That's keep next week
Call
free.
the ambulance.
Keep next week free. What for the funeral?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I mean that's bad. I mean he's like, can I have your golf clubs? No, I
It's
don't
a
want.
rare event, that, I'll tell you.
Well, there you go. Where are you going?
Just getting comfy on a chair.
Right, let's do it.
Question for Stevie. Who's the best player in the Premier League this season? KDB, Salah, Kane, or anyone else?
The best player, I'll tell you, I don't know about the best, but I'll tell you who's the most surprising this year. Sterling. I mean, who would have seen the goals?
That's not the question,
Go
is
on.
it, Steve?
Well, everybody uses a different gauge to who's the best. Some people prefer guys that pass the ball, like a De Bruyne. Some people like
What
players
about
that
you? What do
score
you
goals.
prefer? What do you prefer?
Goals.
So Kane?
So who are you saying?
I'm going to go with Sterling.
Sterling's been the best player of the season.
I'm going to go with Sterling. I didn't see it coming.
Okay. All right then. Next question. Steve, you brag about Pogba's price tag all the time, and all of a sudden we should forget about the price of VVD.
Isn't it amazing how people just make up nonsense? I never said that at all. That's a lot of garbage.
I heard you
What's
bragging.
a lot of nonsense?
I heard you bragging.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
about
what, we might have said you expect a higher level of performance for somebody that costs 100 million. We might have said that. We would have kept banging on about 100 million. So you're making it up. What's his name? Rushketh? Punchwa? You're making it up, pal.
Right.
Send me the tape.
Okay. All right then.
He's angry.
He is angry.
I think it's these seats.
He's
I
hangry.
think these seats are making you.
Hey, listen, if I've said something, then that's fine, but I didn't say that.
All right. Are you surprised that there hasn't been news of aging names going to MLS recently? Is it good or bad for the league?
Well, that aging players aren't coming to MLS.
Retirement league tag, I suppose they're trying to get rid of, aren't they?
Well, it's good that the league isn't being linked with aging players. I think the league has moved past that a long time ago.
Yeah.
A couple of recent acquisitions suggest that.
Well,
they should
Pirlo,
have taken
Lampard, Gerrard, none of them
shouldn't
worked
have come,
out. David Villa worked out very well.
Yes, but you know, at the same time, he's a bit of an outlier in that circle. I think MLS needs to go for younger players.
Yeah.
Whether European, Central or South American, doesn't matter, but the old aging players, I don't think it's
You were
a need
part
for
of
the
that
league.
old aging players,
Yeah,
weren't you, Sean?
They should have stopped just before me. Trust me.
That's it, we're done. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy your New Year's wherever you'll be celebrating it. Just a reminder that we are with you on New Year's Eve. Oh, look at that. What better way to introduce 2018, but with us at midnight.
Is Stevie going to make it?
Are we going to be
Is
here?
Stevie going to make it?
Oh, I don't know. I think I don't feel well already.
Reports in England suggesting Manchester United have had a transfer bid turned down for the Argentinian international. This seems to fit United and what they're looking for, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, 100%, and a very talented player. Was it not Dybala that was supposed to be the issue with Bonucci in the Champions League final? I think the only side of the coin is there's been a few issues it would seem around the club.
Yes, there's problems with his focus going out. I know this is something that you never did in your playing day.
Well, don't just look at me. There's another two sat here. They're worse. But you know, look, Juan Mata's been a great player in the Premier League with Chelsea and Manchester United. He's always done a job when asked. But I think Mourinho would prefer somebody else. And Mkhitaryan just hasn't cut the mustard for this particular manager, not in a sense in terms of the way he played at Dortmund, and he clearly doesn't want him. So yeah, I think it would be an excellent signing for Manchester United.
We would have sat here and said similar things, maybe not the same talent, Mkhitaryan, but of course was superb in the Bundesliga. Yet Kane never really settled at Old Trafford. Would there be a concern this could happen again?
Well, it will be if you don't play Dybala in his position, which is off the front. You know, you buy Mkhitaryan after having an incredible season at Dortmund, playing off the front, and then you go and stick him wide.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why it doesn't work out. Dybala's a fantastic player. If you play him off the front, I think he would be magnificent. But I just don't see Mourinho doing that.
But he has played.
Even if he went and bought him.
He has played.
Do you really think he's going to play him off the front?
He has played Mkhitaryan off the front quite a few times.
But he never
I don't think he feels he got enough from
time. He never gave him time to settle into it and pretty much quickly give him one of them. So, great player, Dybala. Got to play him in the right
balance
spot.
for Juventus, I suppose, is that we know how good Paulo Dybala is, but his price is going to depreciate the more he's sat on the bench.
Yeah.
If you know there isn't a future for him at Juventus, there's got to be a time when you think, right, yeah, you know, it's time to cash in.
At some point, I'm sure Juventus will decide to sell Paulo Dybala. I'm just not sure that it's this January.
The fans wouldn't like it either, though, would they?
Well, even aside from whether the fans approve of it or not, as we just mentioned, Juventus are trailing in a title race, still have Champions League to come. Selling in January for Juventus, selling a player of Dybala's talents, makes absolutely no sense from a Juventus perspective. Now, from a Manchester United point of view, it's great to have somebody of his quality coming in. It's great. I think Dybala adds to any squad almost in European football. Sure. So it makes sense for them. The question is, does Jose Mourinho play him in his preferred position? He spent a lot of money on Paul Pogba, and we can argue all day long as to whether he's playing in the best position for him. But regardless of position, regardless of who's in form or not, Dybala would grace that Manchester United squad. But I just don't see how or why Juventus let him go. Not right now.
Ian, we've talked about Manchester United a lot on the show, especially the comments from Jose Mourinho about Manchester City spending a lot more money. He wants more money spent at United. What's the feeling amongst the fans that you talk to regarding, say, a push for a Paulo Dybala? Is there pressure on Ed Woodward to really break the bank in January to try and appease the fans, and I suppose, in particular, Mourinho as well?
Yeah, I think so. And of course, the way Manchester City are going is adding a poignancy to that within the city. So they do want to try to bridge the gap somehow. Dybala, he's obviously a stylish player. There's something of the Roberto Baggio about him, I think. He's a lovely player. For some reason or another, he's lost his way a little bit at Juventus. He's out of the team for big games. What I'm hearing is the Manchester United offer, you're never sure about these things. The story goes that it's about 60, 70 million pounds, and that Juventus would want probably double that to make this happen. And I think the boys are right. It's Champions League. They've got to think about that. So I think if it does happen, you're talking about next summer.
I suppose fortunate for us in the fact you've got Germany, Spain, France, England, all those leagues are done. This is tight. This is going to be a proper title race, Jack. Who are you going for? When you going SBI in Juventus?
As tight as it is, yeah. I just can't see past Juventus right now. It's a point if they win their game in hand. I know that's a big if. And Juventus have been here and done this before. the juggernaut that is Juventus Football Club, I just feel would be too much for everybody else in Syria.
I think Napoli can break this Juventus stronghold. I know there's not a lot of games, but the Champions League is still there for Juventus. They're going to have to navigate that. Surprisingly, Napoli don't, after they didn't get out of the group. Shakhtar and Man City get out of their group. So they don't have to worry about those midweek huge games in the Champions League, and that might just be the difference between them winning it and losing it.
What do you think, Stevie?
You've got to go with Juventus. I mean, you've got to go with the
But does Craig not make a good point in the sense that, you know, Juve have got the Champions League as well as a distraction?
But listen, Napoli's got the Europa League as well. So, you know, Juventus are absolute past masters at winning Serie A and doing well in Champions League. Napoli have got no history of doing that. So that's why you've got to go with
But I
Juventus.
wonder if they'll just... I know we talked before about teams that have gone for the Europa League to try and gain Champions League entry. It might be the opposite for Napoli. If they sense they've got a chance to win the Scudetto, they might just shelve the Europa League and play a B team. I don't know. It might happen. It might not.
It makes sense. Surely you want to win the league more than the Europa League, mate.
I'd imagine so.
Ian, what do you think?
Well, what I think is Napoli play some wonderful football. I really enjoy going there, watching games. It's a soccer-crazy place. They haven't won the Scudetto since Diego Maradona was in the team in 1990. They are absolutely praying to win it. Yeah, I think the boys are right. Juventus, that Champions League, could be a distraction for them. The form says Juventus probably will get it done, but, you know, the heart says Napoli.
If Barcelona offer 150 million, do you sell Coutinho this time round?
You sell him because Coutinho... I think you would lose Coutinho this time round, basically, is what I'm saying.
I think that's a fair point.
You don't let him go, I think you lose him.
I think that's a good point, though, that he... you know, the way he's performed off the back of the disappointment of that transfer not happening. I mean, there's many a player would have, and we've seen it, would have thrown the towel in. You know, popped up now and again, but, you know, when he's been fit and available, he has looked no different to when it was 2, 3, 4 years ago, when he was still playing the way he is. So I think it's a big credit to the player. But as Stevie said, if he's got his mind on it, and maybe there's been a little promise from Klopp that if it comes around next year, we'll let it happen. If Liverpool do change their mind, as Stevie said, I think that's when you will probably lose the player.
This kind of reminds me of the Ronaldo exiting Manchester United under Real Madrid's interest. So Alex Ferguson kept holding him for the extra year, and his quality didn't drop off at all. But then, inevitably, when clubs like Real Madrid, or in this case Barcelona, come calling, it's just too much for the player to resist. And I think with Coutinho performing as well as he has, it's also good for Liverpool to show that kind of commitment that, okay, we kept hold of you, but now we're going to allow you to make this dream move.
Ian, what do you think? Do you think Coutinho will be here next season?
I think he's been a fantastic professional in all of this because he really, really wanted to go to Barcelona. I know that, having spoken to a few people at Liverpool, but he's knuckled down and he's got on with the job, and I think he'll carry on doing that job for the rest of the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jurgen Klopp has said to him, look, give me another season here of everything you can do, and then next summer we'll look after you. Because I think, yeah, the boys are right. They might lose him next summer if they continue to try to hold on to him. Of course, the other thing they need to do is get a new goalkeeper, because Mignolet, bless him, he's not good enough.